What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
I'm with the band. Music and interviews you're going to like.
Hello and welcome to I'm with the Band here on the Mesh Podcast Network. I am your host, Andrew Moose. Thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in today. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, we invite musicians of all creeds to discuss their current projects, their touring life, and overall lives as musicians. This episode of I'm with the Band is produced in partnership, this time with the No Contact Concert Series, Codex Sound, and Midwood Entertainment. And in case you are catching this podcast down the road, we are currently podcasting remotely away from the beautiful Mesh Studios in downtown Hickory, and we are smack dab in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the guys I mentioned before, Codex and Midwood, are putting on the No Contact Concert Series, which is allowing bands and fans to interact during this time via the World Wide Web. And my guests today on this podcast, they're playing the No Contact Concert Series this Saturday, May 9th, 8 p.m. I'd like to welcome to I'm with the Band, Ty and Sav from Western North Carolina, Unspoken Tradition. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you? Thanks for
Hey,
having me.
Moose. Great to be here.
Great, guys, man. Thanks for coming on and spending a little time with me today. I'm really excited to get to talk to you. Just some quick stats on Unspoken Tradition. If you guys aren't familiar, they've got 3 albums out right now. Their newest one is "Miss We Tell Our Young," and that's available everywhere. All those albums are available everywhere. They've played the Merlefest main stage. They've charted 5 songs on the Billboard Bluegrass charts. What's new? How are you guys staying busy?
Well, we're not that busy. Yeah, like you mentioned, in the midst of the COVID pandemic, we have been working a lot from home. Of course, for the foreseeable future, gigs are either postponed or canceled. You just mentioned Merlefest. In fact, that was a weekend or so ago, and that was been canceled for the year. And another one that is beloved to Sav that he goes to every year, the Gray Fox Festival up in New York is canceled, and several shows and festivals we were going to play this summer and on into the fall have been either postponed or canceled. So we are working from home. We some of the guys in the band are sort of furloughed. Some are still working from home and drawing a paycheck from our day jobs, but we are collaborating a little bit where we can. We're being creative. We're writing, getting ready for our next recorded project, of which we've already begun. And we'll have some new music out from that here in a couple weeks. So we're biding our time trying to still get new music released. And I, for one, am getting a lot of practice in. I don't know about you, Sav.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the silver linings of the stay home situation has been just the amount of time I've been able to put in practicing and writing. And one cool thing we've been doing both as a band and individually with other collaborators is doing kind of some of these long distance collaborations. I'm sure you've seen on, Facebook and that kind of thing. There's a great app out there called Acapella that allows you to do that. And so I've been doing some of that, and we did one as a band. It was kind of a fun one. We rewrote the lyrics to one of the songs on Miss We Tell Our Young as a kind of a PSA about the COVID situation. We put that video out a couple weeks ago. And so, yeah, we've been trying to find creative ways to stay engaged with each other and stay engaged with our fans.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's so cool about what you guys are going to be doing this weekend. The guys at Codex and Midwood have partnered with these bands on their roster, and they are putting a full production out, full lights, full stage, full sound, and do a multicam recording and live stream. I think they're doing it almost weekly, and it's great. I mean, I saw Acoustic Syndicate and Cruz Contreras the last couple times, and it's it's fantastic to see what they're doing, and I can't wait to see you guys on that stage this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the coolest things, I went back and watched. I watched that Acoustic Syndicate show live, and I went back and watched some of the stuff from this past week, just in preparation for us coming out there. And it really is the closest thing to seeing a live show that's available right now. I mean, what they're doing out there is really well thought out. The sound, the lighting, the broadcasting is all just really top notch. So we're obviously very excited to get out there. And just, on a personal level, I know all of us are just itching to play music together again. So it'll be a great opportunity for us.
Right. And I think that's what's the most difficult part about this pandemic, is not being able to be around the people that, you like being around, playing music and just your general socialization. I'm wondering how that's going to play out in our music world. Do you think that, and it goes back to the old adage, do you have to be sad to play a sad song? Do you have to be happy to write a happy song? And I'm wondering, what do you guys think is going to come out of the pandemic overall for songwriting? Do you think it's going to be more of a woe is me, or more of a hope eternal type?
Probably a lot of songs about existential crisis, I imagine. Who's to say? That's such a personal experience, writing songs, and a lot of that has to do with what's going on with someone internally. But I personally feel like a lot of this time out of what I consider a sort of the chaos of the everyday of working, playing shows, this brief pause in socialization, this brief pause in some ways just humanity in general, is in some ways, as stressful as it is about the financial future of all of us, it's in some ways it's sort of a staycation, a time to be reflective. I think we'll probably see a lot of introspective projects and recordings come out of this. I'm not really joking about the existential, probably a lot of that too. And then probably a lot of things that speak a lot to our universality and our universal humanity and the things that bring us together, because it's something interesting about this situation. It's everybody in the world is experiencing it all at once, or, in various stages. But, and that's something that usually is reserved for times of, big world wars. So it's a international phenomenon. And, I think if nothing else, it sort of bonds us together, or I don't know, maybe levels the playing field for everybody. And I think what art it gets created out of that will be interesting, whether it's music or other forms.
So we're going to listen to one. The song that we're going to play for you guys is called "I Say Let's Go," and it's featured on Unspoken Tradition's newest albums, Myth We Tell Our Young.
On the day we said our vows, we night, Colorado got its first snow. So I said, let's go.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
During this time, I have had a chance to listen to a lot of good music, and when I was approached about having you guys on the podcast, I started doing a dive in your most recent work and listened to that first album, Miss We Tell Our Young, and lo and behold, one of my favorite songs made your album, and it's Mountains Win Again, that Blues Traveler song. It's the last song on your album. How did that song make the album? How'd that come about?
I think we were looking for another cool cover. We did on our first release, we did a cover of Stick Shifts and Safety Belts from Cake, and we were looking for something, I think, to kind of cover that, something that people will recognize. And Audie, or maybe one of our former bassman, Lee Shuford, who was a founding member, I think those two guys, they knew the song, maybe had played around with it before, and we worked it up and just thought it was a really interesting and a good fit that translated well to bluegrass. So not a lot of real deep strategy there. Just thought it would be something cool. And once we got into recording it, we realized that it was really going to turn out to be a great cover. So the end product ended up being a better result than we expected. So I'm glad you like it. And a lot of people love that stuff. All of us 90s guys. I'm a 90s guy.
Same.
Remember Blue Travelers from back there. So
for sure. Yeah. I used to go to Horde Festival back in the day, and Blues Traveler and Widespread Panic and all those guys used to tool around the Southeast playing that. And I got well accustomed to those guys. And it was great to see the mutual respect for that band and that song on that album.
Pick up my smile and put it
meant to come to life. I can't understand that you should pull away a hand this time in my life. I was hurt enough to care, I guess. From now on, I'll be careful what I share. Ooh, can you feel the same? Oh, you gotta love that pain. Oh, it looks like rain again. Oh, I feel it coming in. The mountains win again. A pocket is no place for a smile anyway. Someday I will find love again will blow my mind. Maybe it will be the love that got away from me. Is there a line to write that can make you cry tonight? Can you feel the same? Oh, you gotta love the pain. Oh, it looks like rain again. Oh, I feel it coming in. The mountains win again. Oh, the mountains win again.
So, guys, we see a lot of bluegrass bands play more songs and venture in different genres that might step away from the traditional bluegrass side of things. You know, it's not your Pappy's Bluegrass Band. What other bluegrass bands do you see out there that you guys tour around with, or maybe take some inspiration or direction from?
Sav, who do you get inspiration from?
Oh man, I mean the list is never ending because there's just so much great acoustic music out there these days, and I think one of the things that's fun and interesting about our band is kind of goes back to the ethos of who we are as a band in general, and it kind of ties into the name of our band as well. We are all very deeply rooted in the tradition of bluegrass and acoustic music, but we all have varied influences outside of that. And, we use the term a lot, new mountain culture, when we talk about the music and the kind of the direction that our band wants to go in. And I think what that means for us is kind of synthesizing those things, synthesizing that tradition with all of our contemporary influences, like that Blues Traveler song you were just talking about. There are just a bunch of wonderful bands out there. We're very fortunate to work with the Mountain Home record label. And, Mountain Home alone has a wonderful lineup of artists that we certainly take a lot of inspiration from. One that comes to mind for me is Balsam Range. Balsam Range is a band that's from our area, from Western North Carolina. We know all those guys really well. And, they have a really great sense of who they are as a band. Like they're intensely musical. They're all wonderfully talented on their instruments and great singers and all of that. But the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. What they make together is better than what they could each do individually. And I think that's what we strive for as well.
Yeah, some other cool people on the label, recent signees, Fireside Collective, really cool band doing a lot of the expanding out of just the bluegrass roots into jamgrass. We've got people like that. Jeremy Garrett, our label mates with us. Jeremy Garrett's the fiddler for the infamous String Dusters. So we've got sort of the more progressive side of folks that we're associated with, all the way to hardcore, straight ahead Carolina grass, like our friends in Sideline, another group on the label. So I think we're sort of influenced by both sides of those spectrums, and with an attention to original tunes as well.
We touched on the Earl Scruggs Festival earlier. What other some other smaller festivals that you guys have played that our listeners might not be aware of?
Smaller festivals that we played. We only play the big ones, man. I don't know what.
Yeah.
We only play the big festivals.
I know you said the Gray Fox Festival up in New York. That's what size festival is that, Seth?
That's definitely one of the bigger festivals on the festival circuit. Think in terms of North Carolina festivals, it's kind of on the scale of Merlefest.
Okay.
So it's pretty big, but there are just a great number of both festivals and concert venues that we play right here in North Carolina. The Gray Eagle here in Asheville. Places like that. And then, on the festival side, there are things like the Albino Skunk Festival is one that I know Unspoken Tradition has played. That was prior to me being in the band, but they've certainly played that one. And that's a wonderful festival just over the line in upstate South Carolina. That's always a fun one. There are just a great number of them out there. But I think even aside from the festival scene, those smaller venues and clubs, listening rooms, those are the kind of venues that we really love to play, because it allows us to connect with our fans a little more directly than we would if there were, 5,000-10,000 people sitting in a field somewhere. So, places like, the Gray Eagle I mentioned previously, and there are quite a few others across the Southeast that come to mind. But those kind of places are really where I think we shine even more, just because we do have that little more intimate, connection with our audience.
Yeah, I was going to mention Albino Skunk. That's a good one. White Squirrel Festival, all the white animal festivals. And then we got our start probably, playing around town in Asheville, the ISIS, historic ISIS music halls, where we've probably played a good bit. And yeah, we like those at theaters, performing arts centers. So yeah, I mean, and we're still for the most part, as far as audience building, we're still on the rise. We're still working on hard ticket sales and playing smaller clubs and some of the bigger festivals. In fact, this year was probably the year that we were set to up level a lot of that, jump up a few notches as far as getting more into the festival scene. We had a Colorado run that got canceled. I think it was either this weekend or next weekend was going to be Gettysburg Bluegrass Festival that got canceled. And we're sort of waiting to see what else happens. And then, of course, if it happens, and looks like all lights are green for it to, still for now is the first annual Earl Scruggs Festival that you mentioned down there at the Tryon Equestrian Center. So fingers crossed that one still happens.
Right. And you guys are going to do some podcasting ish with Steve Johnson, the fellow that you mentioned before on the Monday series. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we've obviously known Steve for a long time. Asheville native guy and a picker and promoter, and was the talent buyer for many years over at Merlefest, and gave us some opportunities over there. Yeah, he is one of the folks that's doing the talent buying and the promotion for the Earl Scruggs Festival. And they're doing a month of Mondays where they record and do, I believe it's Zoom. It's like a Zoom sort of roundtable talk with different artists that are performing there. And ours is on the 25th, I think. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong there. I don't have a calendar in front of me. All the days are running together right now.
Yeah, I think Monday the 25th, Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah, Memorial Day. Perfect. So, yeah, much like we're talking now, we're just going to be catching up with Steve and talking about what we've got going on and what the overall plans are for the festival.
If our listeners want to go find Unspoken Tradition, how can they go and find you guys on the internet?
Well, we're always promoting for folks to listen to us wherever they stream music. That's building those numbers, monthly listeners and followers on Spotify is great for us. We do get paid for streaming, believe it or not. It is reality. It happens. And also it's a great way to just help build our numbers. So we're on all the streaming services. We're on Apple Music, we're on Spotify, we're on Pandora, we're on unspokentradition.com. Social media, of course, all those great places. We love to hear from people and talk to folks. If anybody wants to send us a message, if they have any songs that we do and want to hear them on Saturday night, we won't be able to have anybody shout from the audience. So if they have requests, they can send us some messages on Facebook. If we know the song, we'll do it. If we don't, tough luck. We won't be able to do that song. But
you guys are going to do a live Stump the Band in front of thousands of online audience. I love it. That's the best. Put your feet to the fire and see what happens. I appreciate you guys coming on to I'm with the Band here on the Mesh. And if you're going to catch them at the No Contact concert series, that's going to be happening May 9th, this Saturday, 8 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. You can find that the stream on the No Contact Concert Series Facebook page. So again, Ty and Sav from Unspoken Tradition, thank you guys again for coming. My name is Andrew Moose, and you are on The Mesh.
In the foothills of that black mountain, though it's been nearly 20 years, no one in that town's forgotten when Molly Dugan disappeared. They searched up and down that mountain, but they never found a trace. And what happened to poor Molly remains a mystery still today. On the dark side of the mountain where the sun no longer shines, there's a secret place well hidden in the shadow of the pines. I'm the only one who kneels there by that shallow grave to weep. On the dark side of the mountain where Molly Dugan sleeps. Molly Dugan's amber hair and dark green eyes, and every heart was set on taking pretty Molly for their wife. No one knew I followed Molly high above that mountain town. When I said that we should marry, she just laughed and turned me down. On the dark side of the mountain where the sun no longer shines, there's a secret place well hidden in the shadow of the pines. I'm the only one who kneels there by that shallow grave to weep. On the dark side of the mountain where Molly Dugan sleeps. mountain where the sun no longer shines. There's a secret place well hidden in the shadow of the pines. I'm the only one who kneels there by that shallow grave to weep on the dark side of the mountain where Molly Dugan sleeps. On the dark side of the mountain where the sun no longer shines, there's a secret place well hidden in the shadow of the pines. I'm the only one who kneels there by that shallow grave to weep on the dark side of the mountain where Molly Dugan sleeps.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.